Hi everyone, so today I wanted to make a video giving more information about hypnotherapy, how it works, what you can expect within a session. I've made kind of another brief video, but this one will be slower, more detailed, and so essentially the first thing that is needed to be known here is that I do a type of hypnotherapy that is called regression hypnotherapy. There's so many different types of hypnotherapy out there. One of the most common ones is the suggestibility behavioral therapy, in the sense that you have a behavior or some sort of mindset that you want to change, and the hypnotherapist helps you replace that behavior with another one that's more productive for you. And well, that definitely can still happen in regression hypnotherapy. The way that regression hypnotherapy is structured is just a little bit different. Sessions tend to be a lot longer. So sessions with regression hypnotherapy are about 3 hours long, about maybe 2.5 hours at the shortest. The reason for this is we do about 30 minutes of a pre-interview where we talk about what you wish to address, and then we do another 30 minutes at the end where we discuss everything that went on in the hypnosis, and then the hypnosis itself lasts about an hour and a half. And so with that right there is about 2.5 hours, and then sometimes it goes a little over in the pre-interview or the interview afterwards, which makes it about 3 hours. For some people, they may be like, wow, 3 hours is really, really long. But the way that I see it is that healing is not something that should be rushed. We live in this kind of society where we think we can have like instant gratification. You go to therapy for just 60 minutes, and well, all of that is great, and there's a lot of techniques out there that can do a lot for you within 60 minutes. I think it's important for us to take our time to really get every little thing that needs to be addressed, not to rush through it. What I've been learning recently in my sessions is that sometimes we don't do just a present life session. We do a present life, couple memories from the present life, and then we can even go into the past life, and then even do several past lives. And with all of this amount of work that is done in one session, it naturally ends up being a lot more time. So if you don't want to rush your healing, and if you want it to be the most productive for you, it's really important to sit with it, because I think a lot of the time we think like, oh, this is so hard to deal with, I don't want to focus on this, so like, can we just get this over with? But that's not actually what's going to give us results. What's going to give us results is like facing it head on and giving it the dedicated time that it needs. So from there, once you do the pre-interview where we figure out what you're looking to address, we go into the hypnosis. And what the hypnosis is it's a space between sleep and being awake. And so you're not going to be asleep in the hypnosis session. You're going to be awake. You're going to be fully aware of everything that's going on. And it's important to note that you're going to be totally in control. You'll be able to be aware of what you're saying. I like to refer to it as like your conscious mind, your thinking, waking mind is going to take a back seat. It's going to be in the back of the room. You can still hear everything that's going on, see everything that's going on, where your subconscious self, your subconscious mind is going to come forward. And we're going to give that center stage. It's going to be able to come through, speak in a very uninhibited way where it can fully express itself. So the thing about the subconscious is that it governs over our emotions. And so often we feel something, like something happens to us that's very tragic, hard, a challenge, and it comes with many emotions. Those emotions can be upset, frustration, anger, sadness, depression, what have you. And when those emotions are not addressed, they get pushed aside into the unconscious. And so once something is unconscious, we begin to have behaviors that we don't recognize are unconsciously hurting us, such as we may turn to drinking, we may turn to drug abuse, we may turn to abusing sex and relationships, toxic behaviors, aggression, things like that. And so whenever emotions are not addressed, they end up becoming suppressed, and as they are suppressed, that's a lot of energy that we're holding in, that we're bottling in, and it has to be expressed in another way if it's not going to be through crying, facing it, or what have you. So it needs to be addressed or dealt with, because it's sitting there and it's not being able to be coped with. And so, like I said, it starts to turn into a toxic behavior, a behavior that starts to negatively impact us. And so what we want to do is we want to bring this subconscious to the forefront, to allow it to have its time and space to heal, to be heard. It needs to express those emotions, and sometimes just simply identifying the emotion and sitting with the emotion is enough to heal it. And so that's what we're doing in hypnotherapy, especially regression therapy. And from there, I have the client lay down on a massage table. Eventually I'm going to do remote sessions. You'll lay down on a comfy spot, whether it's a couch or a bed, whatever. And I have you close your eyes and take some deep breaths and relax. And then I start to guide you basically through a guided meditation. And so this meditation, we're going to work on relaxing each part of the body, relaxing the mind, relaxing the breathing. What can be really, really helpful in preparation for a regression hypnotherapy session is to practice visualization, to practice meditation. These are not necessary. I will, of course, guide you during your session, but they help to strengthen what it is that you're able to see, feel, and experience within your session. And then from there, as I guide you, I'll start to tell you what you see. Maybe I'll have you walk through a forest or, along the beach, and, maybe I'll guide you up a stairway. And I like to change it up every time, so don't ever come in with any expectations. It's really important with hypnotherapy to just have no expectations whatsoever, because we have no idea what's going to come up, because you're going to reach a part in the relaxation portion where I'm guiding you through the meditation, where your subconscious comes forward. I ask your subconscious to come forward, and from there we will start to ask the subconscious to show us the emotional priority that the client has that needs to be looked at in order to address the issue that they're coming with for that session. And so let's say somebody has an issue with motivation, and they feel a lack of motivation, they feel like they're unable to complete the tasks at hand, they're just, struggling through their life. And as they are relaxed, I ask the subconscious to show us what is the emotional priority relating to this lack of motivation. Where is this stemming from? Show us now. And so the subconscious will actually determine if we're going to do a present or a past life. And like I said, we can do both. We can do a mixture, where I was formally taught to just do a present life or a past life, but through my research and studies, I've noticed that I, as a hypnotherapist, do not want to guess for you if I determine that you need a present or a past life. And so instead, I have your subconscious show us if it's going to be a present or a past life, because the subconscious is better aware of what is necessary, of where the root cause of the issue is. And so just remove all the guesswork from that point. So at that point, the subconscious will show us a memory. It'll be either a past life or a present life. I will ask the client, what do you see? Is it day or night? What are you wearing? Are you male or female? Different things to determine whether it is a present or past life. It's usually very evident. From there, I walk you through the memories. The memories could be, very hard to look at sometimes. There's stuff that we've repressed. They could be memories that we've blocked out entirely, that we don't remember at all, especially if they're past life memories. It's not very common that we remember those things, and because it's just, we've had so many lifetimes that, it's hard to say that you're going to remember them. I have had clients who say, I knew that was my past life, and I've seen it in visions, I've seen it in dreams, and so it's beautiful to realize it and to finally see it fully actualized. And so nothing is out of the realm of possibility here. And then as we go through the memories will show us what happened to hurt somebody. And so another example that I'll give, very generalized example, is someone will come to a regression hypnotherapy session with back pain, and they'll say, I've always had this back pain, it's hurt me tremendously, I've gone to doctors, I've seen specialists, and no one's been able to help me, I've had this pain as long as I can remember. And then I ask the subconscious in the session to take us to the source of that back pain, and it maybe perhaps takes us into a past life where this individual was, let's say, a humpback whale, and they remember being poached by people like humans who are out to get this whale, and they remember like a harpoon being struck in the back, causing severe pain, killing the whale. And so just in that instance of, in a past life, being attacked and hurt in that spot in the body, severe trauma happening there alone caused that pain to carry over into the next life, especially because it wasn't particularly addressed or resolved in any sort of way. And then through the session, we could remedy it, whether it be like visualizing that we heal over the area, we remove the pain, we let go of the past, whatever is fit for that session. All kinds of things can be addressed in hypnotherapy: depression, anxiety, grief and loss, childhood trauma, mother-father wounds, sexual abuse. There's, when I was learning, I addressed several things in my life. I had a fear of death. I was severely afraid of death. It turns out that I had a negative entity attached to me. This is another thing that can be addressed in hypnotherapy that is separate than the past or present life. This is the energy reset, where we look at your body as a whole, as a silhouette, like a body of light, and we're able to identify where there are smudges or dark spots in your aura. And those dark spots represent like negative energies or entities that have attached to you. It doesn't matter so much the label or identifying them, what they are truly, but what it is that they're bad energy that is latched onto you, that often comes at times in your life when you had a weak aura and negative energies were able to latch onto you. Times that we have weak auras are often when we feel sadness, when we feel repressed, when we're drinking too much, abusing things, and then so on. And so I had this particular instance where my aura was weak around the age of 10 or 11. It was the time when I first started going through depression. My father had just been deported. There was a lot of strife going on in my family. It was a very, very, very hard time for me as an adolescent. And in that time, I had many moments of weaknesses, and a dark energy was able to kind of latch onto my aura, and we are able to talk to that energy directly. And that energy ends up, like, for the purposes of the sessions, kind of taking on a personality, a name, an aspect to them. And again, what I really like about hypnotherapy is that you don't have to believe in past lives. You don't have to believe in entities or any of those things, because what's happening is it's all happening within your mental space. So it's not like, particularly if you don't want to believe in past lives, you don't have to. You can just say that it's the power of the mind that is creating all these scenarios in order for you to heal. It's a way of your subconscious to give kind of tangible methods in order for you to interpret them and find your own clarity of healing. So I can go on and on and on about that, but I'm just saying that you don't necessarily have to believe in dark entities and past lives and things like that, because everything is occurring within yourself. So it's all in your own toolkit to be able to heal these things. And naturally, when we end up addressing them in a session, results in healing comes naturally anyways. So I was saying that, I had an entity attach itself to me when I was about 10 or 11. This entity actually ended up being my deceased great-grandfather that, actually my deceased grandfather on my father's side that I never met. And so he explained to me that he died prematurely. He died in the Civil War in El Salvador, and he died fairly young. You know, he had a wife and kids, and he felt very unfulfilled in his life, so he never got to leave. He became a lost soul, and in becoming a lost soul, when you are on this earthly realm, you need a body. And so he's traveling around as this lost soul, and he needs a body to kind of host him. And since time is not linear, especially in the spirit realm, he was able to latch onto me. And it happened to just, I want to say it was a coincidence that I was his granddaughter, because in other sessions, the entity is usually somebody you don't know at all. So it's usually like somebody who died in the 1920s and it was very tragic, and they're a lost soul, and they see somebody who has an attractive light and attractive energy that reminds them of somebody they used to love or somebody that they used to be. And so with that, they latch on to that person. But my grandfather, he saw me when I was 10 years old and latched on to me. And what he thought he was doing is he thought he was protecting me. He thought that he, by giving me this fear of death, because he was afraid of death, he had been afraid of dying, and he still was at that time afraid of leaving this earthly realm and was trying to stay on it by attaching himself to me. He was giving me a fear of death, where he didn't want me to go out. I was afraid to put myself out there. I was afraid to travel. I just had this like really heavy energy of being afraid of death, to the point where like it was hard for me to drive, it was hard for me to go out, it was hard for me to do things and to function. And as you know, death is a part of life. It's not something to be feared. So I was able to, my hypnotherapist, Angel, who taught me, he was able to help walk my grandfather through, make amends with everybody in his life, make amends with the fact that he left earlier than he wanted. He guided him into the light. And so with these lost entities, we guide them into the light so they can finally be at peace. And then once my father transcended into the light, I haven't had that same fear of death. I don't imagine horrible scenarios anymore. I don't take it as hard when people pass. It's still always hard, of course, but I have a more inner understanding and a peace with it. And so, of course, that's just an example. Other types of things that we can do in the hypno session is we can do an inner child healing. I can do sessions that are for really recent loss, such as like harsh breakups or grieving of a loss of a passed on one. And then, there's just so much to explore with hypnotherapy, and it's such a beautiful and unfolding thing. And so I want to continue to offer it to everybody. It's nothing to be scared of at all. Usually people who come in are nervous, but then by the end of the session, they're just like, wow, that was amazing. I can't wait to do that again. Thank you so much. And like, it's just a matter of like, once you do it, it takes all that fear out. It's just often the aspect of the mystery of not knowing what's coming that makes people a little bit afraid and choked up about it. And so, of course, if you have any messages or questions for me, I would love to hear it. Send them my way, and I will be returning back with another video soon. So thank you very much, and I hope you all have a beautiful day. Thank you. Bye-bye.